Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm dyno tuning a 97 Dodge Ram with a 360. It's got Edelbrock heads, UTP 500 cam from Utawesome, and it's got some shorty headers that I think are a little small. Primaries are smaller than the eBays, I believe. I'll check them later. And small factory exhaust, just cut off after the converter. It's also got, I believe, stage 1. The Utawesome, the kegger modifications, the VRP plates. It's got the wedge, shorter bolts, I guess. It's probably got the plenum plate and some porting. I don't know what stage. I think it's very, very mild. But I've had some people talking about the throttle bodies, and I sell ported 50mm stock bore throttle bodies, and everyone's, oh, you need bigger. And I don't think so. So I've got the 50 on here now. We've done timing sweeps. It's only making about 240 horse and 300 foot-pounds. I'll go over those dyno graphs here in a second. But we're going to do one more pull with the 50mm, and then we're going to take it off, and he has the 53mm that was on it. We were doing some diagnostic work and we changed it. So we're going to see if that makes any difference at this horsepower level with these parts. Let's go. So here's the 50mm, 240 horse, 307 foot-pounds. We're running about 12.7. Peak torque is right around 3,700. So now we're going to cool it off, swap throttle bodies, and make another run, and then we'll compare. Here's the 50, factory bore, factory blades on the left. Because of that, you can get a little more taper and a little more radius. With the 53, this gets so thin in the middle that this sharp edge is not really awesome. On any of these, this still has the same sharp edge, but you got a little more radius before. But you can't get as much taper or as much radius. So we'll see what this does. We'll just gotta swap all the sensors back over. Is the 50 and red is the 53. I'm sure this little bit of gap here is probably just because I started earlier here. It's probably got nothing to do with the throttle bodies themselves, but it makes the same. It made zero difference. So depending what level you're at, you do not need a 53mm or a 55 or 1200 CFM. The ported factory is enough. Now this is a very small cam because it makes 310 foot-pounds and 240 horsepower, but this guy wants to use it as a truck, so it's doing pretty good. When mine made 300 horse, it only made 270, it was 265, 270 foot-pounds, I believe, and it didn't care. Going from a 50mm to the 53, it didn't care. Once I went to the big cam and the dual plane, and it made 365 and 370 foot-pounds, then it started to care, but it was 5.6 horse. So don't let anyone blow smoke up your ass. It does not care. Especially if you're stock. If you're stock, you're going to make 195 and way less foot-pounds. Note, when it made 4, 5, 6 more horsepower, it did it at like 6,400 RPM. And that was not my ported 50mm. It was the first video I ever did with the throttle bodies. When I did it, I used a grinder. It was not my really nice tapered radius throttle body. It was a piece of crap. But it was what I could do at home with what I had at the time. So that 5-6 horsepower difference is not really a fair comparison to today's 50mm, because now it's tapered and machined and radiused and it's way better. The other one still had the silencers on it. Like, I just straight bored it with a grinder and got it done. So, side note. And it only made that power at 6,300. The low end in the middle, where the flow wasn't as important, didn't care. No difference. Quickly go through these. So this was the first mostly full pull, 209 horse, 263 foot-pounds. You see fuel's we're getting fat and we're lean, so squaring up fuel first. Get a little more power. I believe a little more power. There we go, we're up to 227 and 294, and now I start doing timing sweeps. We started around 20, added 2, more power, added 2, a little more, gains are getting smaller, added 2, and that's when we started to lose, I believe. Let's see, one more. Yeah, there it is. There was no return on those last couple degrees, so we pulled it back out and left it safe, leaving it at 242 horsepower and 306 foot-pounds. But that's it.